Hello friends, greetings to anywhere in the world where circumstances or destiny has brought you. Today only a short little video from our little walk down to the Gregory River, which is not far from where we live, and also a little drive to the lower Gregory. So I hope you will enjoy. I will also try to show you some little videos and shots of our honey eaters. They have left by now, the blue-faced honey eaters. And now we have the nesting willy wagtails. So just a short shot of them as well. We'll talk a little bit more about courage that I spoke about in the last video. And hoping that in the next video there will be a little reading again from a story, little story time, and following that will be a little trip to Woodgate Beach. It's very windy, so I'll probably just check the mic again. So short visit to Woodgate Beach and to Woodgate and to Walker's Point, which are beautiful places very close to us here. Okay, wishing you a beautiful Sunday and a nice week ahead. Bye. So here we are on our walk. The grass is pretty tall. It's right at the end of our road, around our property and other properties. So you'll see some vegetation. There was the little red flowers. I think they call it the Mickey Mouse tree. And soon we will be looking at lantana, which is some of you know, it's considered a weed here, and it's also toxic. So people will prefer not to have it on their land. And what we will also see is one of our Australian marsupials crossing our road or our path. We are walking quite carefully and very aware of where we're stepping in this tall grass because, as you know, Queensland, or maybe you don't know, but Queensland is the home of about 120 species of snakes, out of which about 64 or 67% are venomous. This includes the different species of brown snakes and, of course, the inland taipan, which I'm not sure if taipans are here. They are probably more inland, as the name says. But the king brown and the other brown snakes, they are pretty venomous as well. So we don't want to step on one. Generally, they are shy and they run away. So while we walk with courage, we are also aware. And here we are at the Gregory River. The Gregory is not very long. It actually stems from two creeks near Codalba, which is about, 20 km from here, and it flows all the way to the ocean. We are always happy to see the water flowing because in drought this is just a dry riverbed. So here we are looking at the bridge that was actually in the 1920s was the main traffic bridge across the Gregory River. It's been built in 1920 and I think it's been damaged in the 2011 and 2013 floods, so it hasn't been renewed. There is a new bridge being built across the Gregory on Goodwood Road, so this bridge became obsolete, and you can see how nature reclaimed everything around here. So just walking a little bit up and down the riverbank here, dangling our feet from a little wall. There is a little it's quite entertaining actually, the little noose that's been hanging here for a while now. I would say about 5 years. Don't know the purpose of this noose, but obviously nobody bothered to take it off. People might find it a little bit amusing, or it's just too hard to pull it off. I will not elaborate on the purpose why it was hung there, by whom. But when I went here with my friends in 2017 to show them our little wilderness, it was already there. So the branch is still holding. And here, as we look at the flowing water and listen to its sound, I'd like to invite you just to a little breathing technique. Don't want to call it technique, just a little breathing session, maybe just once. So if we just sit down and relax and just listen to the sound of the water, and let's say breathe in on the count of 4, hold our breath on the count of 4, breathe out on the count of 5, and hold our breath on the count of 4. See how it goes. Obviously do it according to the capacity of your lungs, because everybody is a little bit different, so do it as you are comfortable, so you don't fall off the chair or anything like that. Wouldn't like that to happen. Alrighty, so we'll breathe in, hold breath, breathe out, hold breath, and breathe in. You can do that as many times as you want, and see if all the worries that you might have been carrying right now might leave you for a little while. What I've also found on our walk here was that the beautiful shimmer of the leaves when the sun and the water reflect in those leaves. So that's what I wanted to show you. That had me quite mesmerized for a while. So I'll let you admire it for a few seconds. This is a place where I quite often used to take my clients after the equine assisted therapy sessions, whether they were teenagers or children with their mums or parents. The children generally loved it because to them it was a little bit, they became little explorers. There are a few paths that they can find or could find at that time, and then they would leave with some rocks and barks of tree and twigs and branches. And during that time you could also see how mums and dads become children who are curious about things, who are inquisitive, who want to walk just those few steps further and learn or share their knowledge about what they see about the trees, whether they can identify them or not, whether they can cross the river or not, where the next little path will take them. And that's where you see the courage, and where you see that freedom, and where you see that inner freedom and inner peace in them. So quite often they came and they were stressed out, and they were in a hurry. And then when we, after our little exploratory journey here, they would leave relaxed, and they would be chatting, and they would be laughing, and they would be sharing what they found and what they're taking home with them, even if it's just a little leaf for their scrapbook. We also took photos, so yeah, they had usually some good time there. And the next leg of our little journey took us actually about 10 k's down the road to Woodgate, where to the actually lower part of the Gregory River. It's not far from the ocean anymore, and you can see that here the Gregory is much wider, and it is on both banks flanked by mangrove forests, mangrove communities, really. These mangroves are quite important in Australia, because, well, first of all, they trap sediments, and in this way they actually contribute to land building by preventing erosion and excessive shifting of coastlines. And they obviously also provide habitat for many commercially collected species such as fish and crabs. The coastal Australian Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Islanders, as well as the people of Southeast Asia, have had a very close association with mangroves. They have long functioned, the mangroves, have long functioned as a storehouse of materials, providing food and medicines and shelter and tools. Mangrove communities provide food directly and indirectly, which is fish, crabs, shellfish, prawns, and edible snakes and worms. There is also fruit of certain species, which include the naipa palm, which can be eaten after preparation along with the nectar of some of the flowers. And the best honey is considered to be that produced from mangroves, particularly the river mangrove. Also, medicines are derived from mangroves. For example, ashes of bark infusions of certain species were applied to skin disorders or sores, apparently including leprosy. Of course, also headaches, rheumatism, snake bites, boils, diarrhea, hemorrhages, and many more conditions are traditionally treated with mangrove plants. On the other hand, the latex from the leaf of the blind your eye mangrove, which is called, I think in Latin, Excoersaria agaloca, can cause blindness, but the powerful chemicals in it can be used on sores and treat marine stings as well. The leaves are used for fishing. Crushing the leaves and dropping them in water stupefies the fish, which flows to the surface. So you can see that mangroves are a blessing for our coastline along the rivers and also in the estuaries. sanctuaries, national parks, and so on. And Queensland is lucky to have fairly large mangrove communities, actually. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can tell you. Yes, and of course, if we think back at, let's say, Cyclone Tracy, I think it was it in 1976? Mangroves absorb the energy generated by the storm-driven waves and by the winds. So the only two sailing boats that were apparently saved were those that were anchored in a mangrove creek. And I think the other cyclone, I can't remember the name now, in 2006, there was also mangroves have saved significant coastline in far north Queensland from damage. Mangroves are great. And that will be pretty much it for our little walk here along the Gregory River. And now I'll see if I can show you our little blue-faced honey eaters. So here are some photos of the chicks and their parents. At one point when I was taking a photo, I was actually attacked by about a dozen of them. So honey eaters, when they build their nest, they actually use the assistance of extended family members, and they obviously also help them look after the chicks and protect them from unwelcome intruders. So here are the photos of the chicks and how they progressed from not so attractive little critters to much nicer looking, almost independent, well, not quite yet, fledglings. And this is the one where the fledgling left the nest, and shortly after, his brother or sister did too. And we have actually seen them just recently, and they were flying with their parents, and they were doing very well. And here is Willie Wagtail and his little eggs, our brave little bird, and we are keen awaiting Willie Wagtail's hatchlings to hatch, so I'll keep you updated. For now, wishing you all the very best. Have a lovely week. I'm sorry I recorded actually the voiceover much later in the week, so although the original one was recorded on Sunday. So wishing you a nice rest of the week, and talk to you soon. Bye.